Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, there is one headline that was shared by the Standard newspaper, and I want to use this opportunity to celebrate the Standard newspaper, especially on their headline. You know, there are serious issues happening in this country, and it's like both sides of the political divide, they are giving it a blind eye. And yet it should be a priority in every news, in every gathering, and in every government office. Lakini serikali na upinzani wote wamenyamazia. They are so much busy into their own personal political gains. Wamesahau wananchi wanaumia. So there is this headline here on the Standard Day, the Sunday Standard newspaper. This is what they said: on road to sink a pool. That was their headline yesterday. And the writer of this article is Kimboi Ngeno. You look at the pictures they took there. We have the expressway, and you can see clearly the situation down there. And this is what Kimboi wrote here. From floating cars to bodies trapped in flood water, Friday night storms exposes Nairobi's terrifying vulnerability as rivers burst their banks and road turn into torrents. Residents fled submerged homes and spent the night trapped in gridlock and racing water. By morning, the death toll had climbed to 25. As entire neighborhood lay in ruin behind the chaos, lies and a deeper crisis, years of poor planning, blocked drainage, and unchecked development that have left Kenya's capital city dangerously exposed whenever the skies open. Clearly, if you look at that, you will remember President Ruto and his UDA administration have told us that we are on the road to Singapore. Raila told us that if elected, he will take Kenya to Canaan. And now, with the ODM and Oburu Odinga, together with William Ruto, are now combining these two, and they are telling us that they are taking us to Canaan through Singapore. So up to there, you can understand that headline: on the road to Singapore. So, of course, Singapore. This is the road this government is taking us to Singapore, where just after raining, the entire city is flooded. Poor drainage. There was warnings, and as warnings came, it was time to open or clog those blocked drainages. It is high time to rethink on how planning, wanasema mambo ya unchecked development, unchecked planning. That is what is happening. Lakini President Ruto, Oburu Odinga, wanaambia Wakenya wanatupeleka Canaan through Singapore. Hii ndio Singapore tunaenda, ama ni Singapore.
Great nation, when people from different political formations work together, that is how we are going to transform our nation to a first world country. Vile Mheshimiwa Daktari Oburu Odinga ametueleza ya kwamba hiyo barabara ya kuunganisha wa Kenya, ya kufanya kazi pamoja, ya kuhakikisha kwamba vijana wako na nafasi ya ajira, hiyo ndio barabara itatufikisha Canaan tukipitia Singapore.
Now, I want us to continue with the panel discussion, but before we go on, I have a quick and humble request for those who are watching the channel and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again, to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to our discussion. You can't tell us that you are taking us to Singapore when our own people, in fact, in this paper, they said 25. We are being told the number is beyond 40. Across the country, this was just only Nairobi, but across the country, wakiweka paka na Nairobi, na Mombasa na kwingine, it's 50 plus. So we cannot be on the road to Singapore when we still lost people through flooding in the city, in such a country that got independent very many years ago. How? Ukiangalia kwa Daily Nation wanasema flood warnings that were ignored. There was warnings, but this death is being claimed to some extent because of the ignorance. The state ignored these warnings. And we are heading to Singapore with the poor drainage, with flooded city, with people dying just because the city is flooded. Hawa watu hawakukufa kwa sababu mto ulifurika ukawabeba. Hapana. In Nairobi, where when you are sleeping, unapata maji imejaa kwa nyumba. There was a sad story where a mother was trying to flee from the flood and she was holding her kid. Then by mistake, mtoto akamponyoka. Mtoto kadogo. Mama anauguza majeraha saa hizi kwa hospitali, lakini mtoto alikufa. In a country that we are being told we are heading to Singapore. We are going to Singapore. Singapore gani ambayo ni aina hii? Where we can correct things, but ignorance comes in. So that headline was meant to hit on this administration about the issue of Singapore and what we are in now, on the road to Singapore. So, Singapore is a mirage, a mirage. When we look at things happening today and what this government is telling us, hiyo ni kama tu, unajua saa zingine unaweza kuwa unakaribia mawingu, unaona mawingu unatembea ni kama unaikaribia na hii inasonga. It's a mirage. Hakuna siku utaifikia kiurahisi. Hakuna. You can't. Ukisonga na hii inasonga. Hiyo ndio uongozi naweza fananisha na hii serikali. The Taifa leo Jumapili ni mauti na uharibifu. Death and destruction. That was the order of the day. But in as much all this is happening, umesikia Mheshimiwa Rais akiita a press conference to specifically address this issue of flooding. Wakenya zaidi ya 50 wameaga kwa mafuriko. Rais hajaita press conference to address this issue and mobilize resources to help these people. Utasikia hata hawa wenye wamejeruhiwa kwa maji wako hospitali wamewekewa bill. Lakini kuna pesa za emergency to deal with such situation. Utasikia wamewekewa bill wanafaa walipe. Pesa za emergency ambao ni ushuru wa wananchi, misaada kutoka inaenda wapi? Ndio hata Kenya mpaka saizi bado wanapata misaada. Relief support iko. If they're still getting support relief, and still our people are exposed to this level of danger. The opposition itself, sijaona Gachagua ameita press conference just to address this issue. Neither Kalonzo Musyoka nor Eugene Wamalwa. Hata huyu Sifuna bado hajaita press conference akashifu hili jambo to call in the government to help these people. Kuna watu wamepoteza mali yao, hawana mahali pa kuishi, manyumba zimesombwa, wachana hata na watu wa magari. Yani people's lives have been destroyed. Inamaanisha Raila ndio alikuwa sauti tu ya Wakenya. Hakuna mtu mwingine anaweza kuja hata asukume serikali iseme kitu. If Raila was here, he will talk about this. Raila is no more. The government is silent, no one is pushing them. So I want you to see this. These politicians have no our interest in their hearts. Their interest comes first before they think of us. And you see, on both sides in the political divide are not really talking about this issue seriously. Sasa watu waulize Mheshimiwa Rais ya kwamba how can we trust you with our lives when on such a trial you have shown no any interest to even talk about what our people are going through in major cities in this country. How can we trust you with second term? And how can we trust Gachagua, Kalonzo, Eugene Wamalwa, Edwin Sifuna, and the entire team? So we are on our own. I don't know this, but I salute, I celebrate the Standard newspaper.